Good morning. Morning. Welcome back to Bookie Monsters. My name is PK. This is Bookie Monsters, where in the morning show we look at all the new releases that are being set into the wild this week, and we look at it genre by genre. Mondays we look at cozy mysteries. Tuesdays we look at mysteries and thrillers. Wednesdays, we look at romance. Thursdays, we look at fantasy science fiction. Fridays is sort of the catch-all, typically more cozies, because there's always a lot. Kim says, good morning. Good morning. I hope you're having a good Tuesday. Tuesday, February 13th. It is Mardi Gras for those who are Mardi Gras-ing. Also the day before Valentine's Day. Also the day before Ash Wednesday. These things are related. Let's jump into the mysteries. Remember, we are looking at the mysteries and thrillers that are being released this week. Village in the Dark by Iris Yamashita. Detective Kara Kennedy thought she'd lost her husband and son in the accident, but harrowing evidence has emerged that points to murder, and she will stop at nothing to find the truth in this riveting mystery, blah, blah, blah. On a frigid February day, timely, Anchorage detective Kara Kennedy stands by the graves of her husband and son, watching as their caskets are raised from the earth. It feels sacrilegious, but she has no choice. Aaron and Dylan disappeared on a hike a year ago, their bones eventually found and buried. But shocking clues have emerged that foul play was involved, potentially connecting them to a string of other deaths and disappearances. Somehow tied to the mystery is Mia Apache, who grew up in an isolated village called Unity, a community of women and children in hiding from abusive men. Mia never imagined the trouble she would find herself in when she left home to live in man's world. Although she remains haunted by the tragedy of what happened to the man and the boy in the woods, she has her own reasons for keeping quiet. Aided by police officer Joe Barkowski and other residents of Point Metier, Kara's investigation will lead them on a dangerous path that puts their lives and the lives of everyone around them in mortal jeopardy. So, rather dark. That is Village in the Dark by Iris Yamashita. Oh, how'd that go? No news. Okay. I was going to ask eye specialist tomorrow for retinal hemorrhaging. Oh my goodness. Well, hopefully we get some answers. The Frayed Women of Ardmore House by Brandy Shillis. A must read for any mystery lover by Deanna Rayburn. Okay. An abandoned English manor, a peculiar missing portrait, a cozy, deviously clever murder mystery, perfect for fans of blah. Jo Jones has always had a little trouble fitting in. As a neurodivergent, hyperlexic book editor and divorced New Yorker transplanted into the English countryside, Jo doesn't know what stands out more, her Americanisms or her autism. After losing her job, her mother, and her marriage all in 1 year, she couldn't be happier to take possession of a possibly haunted and clearly unwanted family estate in northern Yorkshire. But when the body of the moody town groundskeeper turns up on her rug with 3 bullets in his back, Jo finds herself in potential danger, and she's also a potential suspect. At the same time, a peculiar family portrait vanishes from a secret room in the manor, bearing a strange connection to both the dead body and Jo's mysterious family history. With the aid of a Welsh antiques dealer, the morose local detective, and the Irish innkeeper's wife, Jo embarks on a mission to clear herself of blame and find the missing painting, unearthing a slew of secrets about the town and herself along the way. And she'll have to do it all before the killer strikes again. That sounds kind of interesting. The cover looks historical, but it doesn't descriptionize. I just made a verb that way. Interesting. Very interesting. Oh, James Patterson and James O'Born. Detective Michael Bennett faces his most terrifying killer ever. It could be anyone. They could be anywhere. A killer uses fearsome precision to take out impossible targets. Detective Michael Bennett teams with a shooting expert, a former Army major and sniper with NYPD's Emergency Services Unit. But Officer Rob Trilling seems more comfortable with rifles than he is with people. When his new partner begins to log unexplained absences from duty, only Bennett can prove whether the decorated officer is a lonely hunter or hardened assassin. Laurie R. King, big name in historical mysteries. This is the next in series of her Russell and Holmes. I do own this one, although I'm behind in the series. After the recent adventures in Transylvania, Russell and Holmes look forward to spending time with Holmes's son, the famous artist Damien Adler, and his family. Okay, I'm way behind. But when they arrive at Damien's house, they discover that the Adlers have fled from a mysterious threat. Holmes rushes after Damien while Russell, slowed down by a recent injury, stays behind to search the empty house. In Damien's studio, she discovers 4 crates packed with memorabilia related to Holmes' granduncle, the artist Horace Vernet. It's an odd mix of treasures and clutter, including a tarnished silver lamp with a rotating shade, an antique yet sophisticated form of zoetrope fitted with strips of paper whose images dance with the lantern's spin. In the same crate is an old journal written in a nearly impenetrable code. Intrigued, Russell sets about deciphering the intricate cryptograph, slowly realizing that each entry is built around an image, the first of which is a child bundled into a carriage by an abductor watching her mother recede from view. Russell is troubled, then entranced, but each entry she decodes brings more questions. Who is the young Indian woman who created this elaborate puzzle? What does she have to do with Damien or the Vernets or the threat hovering over the house? The secrets of the past appear to be reaching into the present, and it seems increasingly urgent that Russell figures out how the journal and lantern are related to Damien and possibly to Sherlock Holmes himself. Could there be things about his own history that even the master detective does not perceive? That is The Lantern's Dance by Laurie R. King. That is a good series. Yeah, that I've pulled that one out for me to check out later. Lone Wolf by Greg Hurwitz. Big name. Oh, this is an Orphan X one. Duh, it says an Orphan X novel. Duh. Okay, coffee. Coffee is required. Lots and lots of coffee. Once a Black Ops government assassin known as Orphan X, Evan Smoke left the program, went deep underground, and reinvented himself as someone who will go anywhere and risk everything to help the truly desperate who have nowhere else to turn. Since then, Evan has fought international crime syndicate and drug cartels, faced down the most powerful people in the world, and even brought down a president. Now struggling with an unexpected personal crisis, Evan goes back to the very basics of his mission. And this time, the truly desperate is okay. A little girl who wants him to find her missing dog. Not his usual mission, and not one Evan embraces with enthusiasm, but this unlikely tiny job quickly explodes into his biggest mission yet, one that finds him battered between twisted AI technocrat billionaires, a mysterious female assassin who seems a mirror of himself, and personal stakes so gut-wrenching he can scarcely make sense of them. Evan's mission pushes him to his limit. He must find and take down the assassin known only as the Wolf before she succeeds in completing her mission and killing the people who can identify her. A teenage daughter of her last target and Evan himself. Match skill for skill, instinct for instinct. Evan must outwit an opponent who will literally stop at nothing if he is to survive. That is Lone Wolf, Orphan X novel by Greg Hurwitz. And we looked at that MC Beaton yesterday with the cozies, and that one is a sci-fi. All right. Original Sins. Riley Fisher number 2. Let's go up into the Kindle version here. FBI rookie Riley Fisher must navigate a brutal serial killer as well as a kidnapped plot against the governor. It's a brutal winter in Des Moines, Iowa, and the city is gripped by fear. A serial attacker known as the Sin Eater is stalking women and has just struck again. It's a tough time and a tough place for Riley Fisher, a former small town sergeant, to be reporting for duty as an FBI agent on her first assignment. Teamed with a man she's not sure she can trust and struggling to prove herself while fighting the pull of her old life and family dramas, Riley is tasked with investigating a vicious death threat against the newly elected female state governor. Gradually, she traces a disturbing connection between this case and the hunt for the Sin Eater. Through snow, ice, violence, and lies, Riley Fisher is drawn towards a terrifying revelation. We've got some dark ones today. But sometimes you're in the mood. Sometimes you're in the mood for Criminal Minds and not Murder, She Wrote. But it's nice to have both. Paper Cage by Tom Baraguanoff. This is a debut from a New Zealand novelist. How far would you go to keep your family safe? Lorraine Henry is generally content to keep her head down and get on with her work as a records clerk at the Masterson police station. But when children start going missing in her small town, Lo can't help but pay attention. After all, she has Bradley, her young nephew, to worry about, and the cops don't seem to be putting much effort into finding the kids. And then the unthinkable happens. Bradley disappears. Distraught but determined, Lorraine vows to bring him home no matter what. And together with a detective from Wellington, she embarks on a dangerous mission, one that will illuminate all the good and bad in Masterson. I wonder if that's an audio book. It does say audiobook credit. I bet that is a good audiobook. Should be in with an Australian accent. Shall we look? There we go.
Just like last time, the radio has it first, the bulletin clicking on as the morning light knifes the curtains. I went to
Yes, it is an Australian. And I think it's the same narrator as the one who does another Australian. Yep, Saskia Marveld. Um, she does a series that I like. She does a good Australian accent. She sounds very much like Lucy Lawless, but it's not her. It's Saskia. All right, the Kamogawa Food Detectives. This, I believe, is in translation. Yep, it is a translated. Is the first book in the best-selling, mouth-watering Japanese series. What's the one dish you'd do anything to taste just one more time? Down a quiet back street in Kyoto exists a very special restaurant run by Koichi Kamagawa and her father Nagare. The Kamagawa diner serves up deliciously extravagant meals, but that's not the main reason customers stop by. The father daughter duo are food detectives. Through ingenious investigations, they are able to recreate dishes from a person's treasured memories, dishes that may well hold the keys to their forgotten past and future happiness. The restaurant of lost recipes provides a link to vanished moments, creating a present full of possibility. It's listed as a mystery thriller. Where is the mystery thriller part coming in, other than detecting recipes? Huh. Somebody will have to read it and report back. The Resort by Sarah Oaks. I don't know. A searing vacation thriller. There's a subgenre. A vacation thriller set on a remote island in Thailand, following two mysterious women, a charismatic group of expats, and the one murder poised to bring their paradise crashing down. Welcome to paradise. We hope you survive your stay. There are three rules to follow during a vacation at the famous Koh Sang resort. 1. Leave the past behind. When Cass sets foot on the coast of Thailand's world-famous Party Island, she's searching for an escape. With dark secrets following her every move, Koh Sang becomes the perfect place to hide. Number 2. Always be careful of, of who you trust, of whom. Grammar police. I specialize in adverbs, but I will arrest any infraction. Now, years later, Cass is a local dive instructor alongside the Permanents, a group of expats who have claimed the island as their own. The Permanents don't linger on who they were before the island, simply because, like Cass, they all have something to outrun. 3. If someone discovers who you really are, run. Suddenly, a dive student is found dead and paradise comes crashing down because this isn't the first mysterious death on the island, and it won't be the last. Someone knows who Cass is, and they're ready to make sure justice is finally served. I don't know if I can get past that grammar infraction, though. Ugh. That is all that I have from these sites, but we'll look through this other one to see if anything else jumps out. I'm going to be checking out the Framed Woman of Ardmore. Was it Ardmore? And I already did have that Loriar King. Scanning. And we're walking. Here's one. Bone Whispers comes out tomorrow by Rosalind Brackenberry. Nessa, now in her 70s, is back in England from the US to take care of her inherited house on the coast of Dorset. Why does everybody have these inherited houses over there? I want an inherited house over there. She arrives to hear news of human bones, a woman's bones, dug up on the beach after a cliff fall. As she walks the paths of her childhood again, memories begin to return. Whose bones are these? Why does she have the growing feeling that they are connected with her? How does the present echo the past? What place do guilt and recriminations take in the present life? And who, apart from her childhood love, Ted, can help her find the truth of what really happened? So many questions. It's too early for that many questions. But interesting. Feels a little gothic-y, which is not a bad thing. BC Andrews? Pass. So this must be from like the estate of. The Chasing Endless Summer. Is it a re-release? No. Sorry guys, I'm jumping around just to find some additional information. It has to be from like the estate of. Now popular Lifetime movies. After the tragic death of her mother and a long period of isolation under the thumb of a cruel grandfather, young Carolyn Breyer has little to hope for in her life in the foreboding Sutherland mansion. Her only companion, her enigmatic cousin, we need to have a drinking game for the word enigmatic, Simon, but it'll be coffee, may be a wolf in sheep's clothing and is not to be trusted. But when Carolyn's estranged father suddenly resurfaces with news of a new wife and stepchildren in Hawaii that she'll finally be allowed to visit, Carolyn dares to hope for a new normal life. Desperate for her father's love, Carolyn will do anything to stay in this new home. But her troublesome stepsister has other plans, and Carolyn cannot tell who to trust and who to run from. Will her new stepbrother and sister be a light in her dark life, or will they blot out the last slivers of sun forever? Back to more domestic thrillerish kind of things. Again, we're just going to do some scanning here. Looked at that one yesterday. We'll look at some more cozies probably on Friday. Killer Story, Matt Whitten. I'm familiar with that name because he has written other books, but he has also written for Law and Order. If it's the same guy, I think it is. Some of the stuff has fantasy tones to it, so we'll save those for Thursday. And things that are looking romantical, we will look at tomorrow. We don't look at horror. The Last Days of the Midnight Rambler. That one might be something to check out. All right. Tina, Mafia Soldier, Thriller Crime. You're killing me. Mystery, thriller, humor. Maybe we'll check those out on Friday. All right. That's all we have time for. Well, I thank you very much for tuning in. If you're watching this morning, thank you for being up and watching live. If you're watching later when I post this, as you go about your day, thank you very much for watching then. I don't think we talked about the because it doesn't until Sunday. I thought we did. Yeah, we did because it was about Hamish. Hamish. I remember reading about him all the time. Absolutely. Anytime, any place, anywhere, I'll be there. All righty, guys. Again, thank you very much. There are sprints tonight, 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern. Sometimes I start a little early if traffic goes in my favor and the walk with Keo goes very quickly. So make sure you have the notification bell in case we do start early. Tomorrow we'll be looking at romances. Have a good day. You too. Good luck with your tests. You're going to do great. Gotcha. Okay. So sprints tonight, 6:05. Next sprints after that will be on Thursday. I hope you are reading good books. I hope you have a good day. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom, nom. Happy Mardi Gras. See you later, hopefully. God bless.